Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And I love it when I get contributions like this. And this is from Charles. A huge shout out to Charles. And apparently he sent this letter to politicians around the world. And it's a very, very well written letter. Dear Sir, Madam, the duty of South Africa's present government is to protect the law-abiding citizen. If a person is convicted of a crime where he or she is sentenced to prison, the individual should automatically lose the right to vote if they are a South African citizen, and only get the right returned once the sentence is complete. There should be no rights to comforts and should in some way repay to society for their crime by work, and the cost to society should be a bare minimum. If the individual commits murder with no extenuating circumstances, in other words, self-defense or treason, the rights of life of that individual should be removed and be euthanized. There are many cases where the death sentence can be enforced, such as treason, child rape, rape with violence is used against female or male victims, arson, the destruction of private or state property through fire, the attack on production, whether commodities or food, i.e. farms, farmers, family and staff, factory management and those willing to work, where are the individual rights to work of association. Killing of a police officer, unless the police officer is illegally attacking a citizen and the citizen protects him or herself. The right of the citizen is to protect themselves with a weapon if attacked or home is invaded. Where are the rights of the homeowners? Very good question. And to effect an arrest by the use of a firearm if attacked and the villain tries to escape. A citizen who is a victim of a hijacking has the right to use deadly force to protect themselves and vehicle, whether the vehicle is private or is the property of an employee, i.e. transportation or delivery vehicles. Another situation which has arisen since the African National Congress has become management, and that is the blockade of national roads through the use of burning tires, arson, or rocks, vehicles being burnt, arson. On the 2nd of June 2019, News 24 reported, the Road Freight Association stated 1,300 trucks had been damaged or destroyed over the past year. Do tell, how does the employed person get to their place of employment if criminals use violence to prohibit them? Very little effective force is used against these violent people. My personal experience on attending a military lecture at Durban South Commando on necklacing a person, which is a terrible crime. My question to the non-commissioned officer was, why was the person who was going to initiate the ignition not shot? The answer was the criminal cannot be taken down until the petrol in the tire has been ignited. May I ask, what is the point? As a life has not been saved, but the victim will meet a terribly painful death. The sniper, if at all humane, will shoot the victim after taking down the criminal. There are many crimes that are and have happened in our country, and many by the ruling class. The amazing part is tax money is still being spent on the legal costs, and as on the Jacob Zuma and connection cases, with no conclusion in sight, and to many thinkers, justice will not be met. Let us not forget the arms deal, the sale of South Africa's strategic fuel stocks, the purchase of the wrong locomotives for the Prasa, the collapse of Eskom, the continuous downward spiral of our currency, the danger of the present government getting their grubby hands on the pension fund capital, the breakdown of municipal governance. The first one that comes to mind is Durban's mayor, Zandile Gumede, who has been accused of commercial crimes. At 74 years of age, who with my wife have lived through a similar scenario of today in Rhodesia, my wife on a farm 4 kilometers from Mozambique, Chipinga. I go on military duty and my wife is at home with 3 children, a very brave lady who I thank God for allowing me to be her companion. Personally, through age and experience, I do not have any confidence in the future of my country, the Republic of South Africa, under the present management, with little or nothing being done to rectify the mistakes of the present management, and we as the elderly Remainers will have to face many dark clouds. Let us not forget the things that we once took for granted. To get on a train as a passenger without the fear of being thrown off while the train is moving. My late son was thrown off a train because he was a white person. Thank God he lived through it. A post office that you can receive parcels that have not been robbed, and family overseas actually receive their birthday cards in time. As elderly people, we cannot walk or drive around without watching our back to worry about our home being invaded, on taking my grandson to school, and whether I'll see him at closing time. He said to me, "Grandpa, why must I go to school? As I'll not get a job, as I'm white. Why am I family with many other young people now overseas?" Concern about the future under an African National Congress government. My daughter stated she would not have children in South Africa. I have 2 Australian grandchildren. Australia's gain, lost to South Africa. Our Christmases are very lonely. Now I can imagine comments from my critics. Have you anything positive to say about South Africa's present government? My answer is as follows. In 1994, most of our population could not afford bicycles. But in 1994 and half, they had BMWs and Mercedes, and as our present financial situation is a major concern, I have no doubt our future is bleak, to say the least. May I say that most of our population know little, if anything, about South Africa's history, so therefore is used by the politicians to brainwash many citizens with uneducated hate of white South Africans. Will the idea of a rainbow nation survive? No, as a working people do not have time to take note of history or what happened in 1652. The most imbalanced part of our country is that there are citizens who wonder how the government can normalize law and order when in their eyes most are criminals. Let's take Magoo's Bar, which was bombed in Durban on 14th of June 1986 under the leadership of Robert McBride, killing 3 and injuring 69, who became chief of the ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police. Then there was the Amanzimtoti bombing on 23rd of December 1985, which 5 killed and 40 injured. The O'Malley Archives reports ANC killed mostly civilians. Now what has transpired? We have a country which is riddled with crime and violence, and everything from rinderpest to the collapse of the economy is blamed on the white man. On the subject of cable theft, I am of the opinion that it should be classified as treason. In Durban, a thief is sentenced to 15 years imprisonment, which does not make economic sense, as this person is fed, has medical cover, clothing, television, and is allowed to vote. If treason is a capital crime, the person should be euthanized, which would be a saving for the taxpayer. At the moment, South Africa has 157,000 prisoners, with more than 16,000 serving life sentences. Politics Web, 29th of May 2013. It costs the taxpayer R9,876.35 per month to imprison a criminal. The law-abiding citizen cannot win, as they are at the mercy of the criminal, and still has to pay for the criminal in jail. My honest opinion is that the ANC has a cart before the horse, and no idea what they're taking on, and instead of using hearts and minds, they lost their chance of keeping South Africa as a leading African nation. Yours sincerely, Charles. Very well written, Charles. I agree with a lot of what you say. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, ring the bell for updates, and have a great evening. Bye for now.